Hi, everybody. It's Georgia Rose back from the Zenkuda community to give you some guidance in the current energies and the astrology that's in play right now. This is being recorded on March 1st, 2026. And boy, have we had the last few days of quite a lot of change and events and things going on. I told you it would be really fast moving, and boy, it has been. So we had last week on the 26th, we had Saturn and Neptune go into Aries and conjunct there for the first time in thousands of years. And I talked about that energy on one of the videos in my YouTube channel. And then we had the Uranus square Mars, which happened on Friday, February 27th. And that brought in quite a lot of change and aggression into the world. Mars, when it squares Uranus, is always the god of war meets the awakener. And we can always expect great rapid change. And boy, it certainly lived up to its reputation. So now, in the next couple of days, on March 3rd, we have a full moon in Virgo, which is a lunar eclipse. So the moon is in Virgo, the sun is in Pisces, along with a lot of other planets. We've got Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which I also did a video about last week. You can find all of that on my YouTube channel, Zenkuda. So what can we expect from this Virgo lunar eclipse? Well, being that it's a lunar eclipse, it means that it's right up against, smack up against the South Node. The South Node represents our past. And the South Node also represents the way that we deal with things, the patterns we run, what we bring into our lifetime that is really kind of a status quo, so to speak. It's the way we oftentimes deal with things, or the coping mechanisms that we use in our life are often South Node type things because we've brought them in from past lives or from ancestral karma. So we've got the South Node and the moon in Virgo right now. And Virgo is an energy of patterns. It's an energy of service. A lot of times Virgo in our charts can also be where we can be self-critical, the inner critic, or show where we've had people who are hypercritical to us in our own lives. Many of us on the planet right now are the Pluto in Virgo generation. So for some of us, this lunar eclipse is happening right on our Pluto. Hello, that's me. So it will be sure to bring in things from the past, our soul's desires, and also create some really great climates where we can do some really deep healing and change patterns. But generally speaking, for most of us, wherever this lunar eclipse in Virgo is taking place in our chart, wherever Virgo is in your chart, this is going to bring to the forward and bring to the forefront the coping mechanisms that no longer are working for you. And the reason why I say that is because we've had all of these changes happening since the end of 2025 into 2026 with planetary energies changing and bringing in a lot of clarity, a lot of different energy. We're seeing things in a different way now. Like I said in my last video, it's like being on top of a mountain that we've looked out for many, many years, and we've always seen this certain landscape, and it's familiar to us, and we react to it in a certain way, and that becomes our patterns. But now all of a sudden, it's like we woke up one morning and we're standing on a different mountain, and the landscape has completely changed, and the way that we need to interact, relate, and deal with it is changing. So in a moon like this, and with a lunar eclipse bringing out the South Node, the past, the ways that we've always coped with things, those patterns are now looking to be completely changed because the things in our lives are changing. Our perspective has changed. And I'll bet I can speak from personal experience, and I'll bet all of you have had some major changes go on in your life in the last 6 months. And that's going to continue throughout the end till the end of 2026. We've just begun 2026. And this is a year of great change for all of us and great change on the world stage. So as things in our life change, we have to change the way we relate and the patterns we use to cope and maintain our life. And this is the evolution that all humans on the planet are going through right now. The way that we've built our lives, the relationships we've cultivated, the patterns that we live our life with, the jobs we do, the routines, the daily routines, health and work, and all of those things, family, they're changing. So the way that we deal with them, relate with them, and work through our day are changing. The way we work through relationships in our family, in our romantic lives, in our business are all changing because the containers we live in, the places we live, the jobs we do, the relationships we want to have are all taking on really new perspectives. So with this lunar eclipse and with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, showing us where the pattern needs to change. What new ways do we need to communicate? What new ways do we need to self-care, care for ourselves? What's the new things, the new patterns, the new desires that we have for our relationships with each other? What are the things looking forward into the future that we really want to bring forward, and how do we want to do them in a different way? So these are really times when we're culminating a lot of old energy. It's the ending of a lot of karmic patterns. And eclipses always bring newness. They always bring endings and beginnings. But this time it's really potent, coming off the last eclipse that we just had in February, and now this one, March 3rd. This is really a time when we're seeing things. They're really in our face, so to speak. We can't ignore them anymore. So what are the ways that you have been deeply entrenched in coping, in making things okay? The way you soothe yourself, the comfort mechanisms that you have, the safety mechanisms that you have. What are those things that really don't fit anymore and really now are changing in a way that it's scary and it's uncomfortable, but we know the only way is to move forward and find the new way that really builds us into an inner stability. And I think as we move in through 2026 and into 2027, which is going to be a whole new energy, what's really desired is inner stability within ourselves, and also from the partners, the friends, the family, the relationships, and the structures that we build in our life. We're really coming at a time when the future is going to be built on our inner stability, what our soul's desire is. When we sit in our soul space and we're really quiet, what is it that we really want to do and be and feel in our life? This is what's coming to the forefront for us. And that clarity sometimes is startling. It's uncomfortable until we get used to it. We are dissolving. Pisces energy is dissolving ways and means and things that we've been used to for hundreds of years. And we're watching them dissolve and disintegrate right before our very eyes. So now we're being called on to create these new ways of being and these new ways, these new patterns. And Virgo shows us that. The moon and the lunar eclipse in Virgo is going to show us that. It's going to create darkness on the things that no longer work and dissolve them with the Pisces sun, with Mercury in Pisces, the energy of dissolving whatever is decayed for us. But there's a lot of things that have expired now in our life. It's like that old smelly mayonnaise in the refrigerator. We've got to toss it. We love to eat mayonnaise, but we're not eating that mayonnaise anymore. And that's really what this life is about, is we're finding the new mayonnaise. We're finding the new way, the new creation that we want to birth. The patterns that we had before worked. They brought us to a place in our life that brought us to this crossroad. And that's something to be really grateful for. But now when we're at the crossroad, we're leaving the luggage, we're leaving the suitcase, we're leaving whatever was right there, and we're going into a crossroad. We're picking a lane, we're picking the way we want to go, and we only have all new things to create, to bring forward. We're not dragging old patterns into our life now because Saturn just went into a brand new sign, and it's not allowing us to bring the things that have been throughout our whole last 36 years with us. This is about Saturn in Aries, creating an independence for us and a liberation for us. Virgo showing us the new patterns that we have to create in order to bring that clarity of what really is going to be our liberation in. And it's all initiating at this March 3rd new eclipse, lunar, full moon energy. It's about letting go of the victimhood. I talked about that a lot on my last video. It's about creating a life where we're no longer managing everyone else's emotions. We're managing our own. We're putting all of our energy into the creation of our life, not trying to maintain a status quo just to survive, not trying to create an environment by manipulating others into being the way we need them to be for our own security. This is about accepting the other. Pluto in Aquarius is all about that. It's going to be there for the next 20 some odd years, and it's going to show us to accept the other. And in the framework of this current energy and this Virgo lunar eclipse, that means accepting that, certain people, certain others who maybe are not as emotional as we are, or maybe not as compassionate or have the empathy that we require for relationship. it's about that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. This is going to hurt me for a couple of days, but I'm going to survive it. And that's the clarity. And the clarity also of saying that is that person's personality, that is that person's journey, that is their essence. If it doesn't fit with me, that's okay. I'll be okay because I have my own inner stability. And I'm creating that through the patterns that Virgo are showing me, the new patterns, through the clarity that Saturn and Neptune and Aries is giving me, the fire to breathe life into the reality of my best life. And the Mercury retrograde in Pisces showing me there is a way to communicate, but first I have to go into myself and communicate with me to understand how I can communicate my needs and my own level of understanding that I require for others. And that also requires me to understand that not everyone in the world is going to be like me, and I'm not going to be like them, and that's okay. And so, as we're shown these new patterns of how we're going to relate and how we're going to cope and how we're going to adjust, it also means accepting others' patterns and the new way that they're going to be. And there will be some people in this energy that may cling to the status quo, that may still try to engage in the old patterns. And that's their journey. And we must accept that. And we must put all of our energy and our focus into creating the best self that we can be, the best inner stability, the most powerful energy that brings us into life, that's going to bring us more joy, expand love, expand joy, expand our own compassion for ourselves and others. And so Mercury retrograde is not comfortable in Pisces. Mercury likes to move quickly. It likes to have clarity. And in Pisces, it's not going to always have that. But it is showing us the error of our ways. It is showing us what can no longer come into the future with us and what we need to have dissolved in order to birth a new person coming into this whole new world that we're going to have in 2027. So what we ask ourselves are what structures that we have in our life, where we live, our jobs, the routines, the things that we do. Virgo is very much about routine and work and our daily life. What structures that we have that are really no longer aligned with where we want to go in the future? What patterns can't come with us in where we're going? Because the world is changing rapidly and we are changing rapidly. And what identities were built on that outdated model, the model that maybe where we accepted less than we deserved, where we were okay and surviving, living with things that really didn't feel good. Where do we need to now have new patterns? What is the identity that we built on those old patterns, and where is that dissolving? And where can we now form a new identity with the patterns that we're being shown, the clarity that we're being given? The next 6 months are going to be about a lot of structure decaying. And we also have a lot of other energy that's going to be coming in and new and changing, especially when Uranus goes into Gemini in July. So prepare yourself to open new space. Where do I want to take up space? Who do I want to be in this new space? And a lot of energy is emerging, but new meaning is emerging. The new way that we want to relate to people is emerging. And we're going to be building new containers that we live in, new daily routines, new structures. It's going to be really beautiful to see, where we end up and where we go in this energy. But one thing I can tell you is this particular month of March is not about pushing everything forward and going at breakneck speed and being impulsive. The month of March is for inner work. The month of March is for getting ourselves related to and relating to the newness that we're feeling, adjusting our nervous system to what are our new patterns going to be for security. What in the future does security and safety really look like for me? It doesn't feel like it did in the past. It feels different now. Things feel different. The lighting is different. I'm seeing a new perspective. I'm being enlightened to a new way of being. And instead of being nervous and anxious and scared, let me go into a place of inner stability where I'm excited and I'm anticipating what I am able to create with this newfound energy and the newer, more powerful me that I'm birthing. And so it's not a month where we're going to really push ourselves forward at breakneck speed and be impulsive. It's more of a month of reflection. It's a month of stopping and realizing that we have some things to shore up and hold up and all of the things that have already now changed in our life, catching up to what we need to do and the way we need to relate and really be powerful in those things. Because if we rush forward too fast, we won't have a strong foundation for all the change that is yet to come. And we won't be shoring up and understanding and having a really healthy relationship with all the things that are new to us now. And so that's really the Virgo lunar eclipse. This is really about bringing in and correcting the places where we've allowed ourselves to be less than, where we've allowed ourselves to be diminished, where we've allowed ourselves to be a victim, correcting the places where we go into savior mentality and, walk in a room where maybe things are uncomfortable and tense and we think we have to fix them, or we have to think we have to coping with another person that isn't doing their work, and we think it's our job to fix them. It's not what we're here for. We're here to be enlightened, expand love, and expand compassion just by being an example of love. And so I'm going to leave you with that. And in closing, I'm going to say, just allow ourselves to be in a place of surrender and really go into a quiet place where we can actually observe what's happening without fear, without that nervous energy that Aries can sometimes give us, and go into a place where we're accepting and we're like, wow, this happened. This is good. This is something I need to really maybe allow to let go of and dissolve. And when I move forward, I'm going to be really strong enough to know where I align and where I really don't. So happy moon blessings. May the eclipse be gentle, and may we spend a month together at Zenkuda in the community, learning and growing and really helping each other along the way. I will be in the Soul Space podcast tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on Strong Island Television, and then, of course, on Zenkuda on YouTube. And we're going to just do tarot readings tomorrow because we need a little enlightenment, need a little to lighten up. And if you watch the show live, comment, we'll pull cards for you specifically. But if not, I'll be pulling cards for all the zodiac signs. And so you can always watch the replay. Thank you so much for supporting my work. Please like, subscribe, and share. My videos are all meant to be shared so that we together can expand love in the world. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions about the Virgo lunar eclipse, put them below and I will answer them. Thanks so much and have a great day. And also, you can book a reading on zenkuda.com. I almost forgot that part. That's the best part. Get a personal reading, find out exactly how this energy is playing out in your chart and what to expect for the rest of the year. Great way to know yourself even better. Thanks so much, guys. I am Georgia Rose, your psychic astrologer. See you next time.